Right, Mr. County Executive, we'll turn to you. Let's look at last 8. What are some of the things you really happy that you've been able to accomplish, and going forward, what is it that you hope to be able to accomplish to really get your legacy going there?
Thanks, Joe. Well, first of all, it's great to be here. Thank you for having us. Thank you to all the members of the HIA for the incredible work that you do. I'm very glad to be here with my colleagues and members of the legislature who are here. I want to particularly recognize our new presiding officer, Rob Calarco, who's here. And we, you know, as Lee was talking about, you know, we are trying to really work together, and that is a big key in a bipartisan fashion, because the truth is there's a time for politics and there's a time for governing. And I think the presiding officer, working with Legislator Silmy and others, is really trying to set a great tone. It is important that we work together if we're going to move this region forward. And I think the Electron Ion Collider is a great example of that. And I congratulate Congressman Zeldin and thank him for the work that he did to do this for the region. Senator Schumer, of course, as well, because this is, we talk about things that are game changers. This is a game changer for the region. And it's an example, I think, you know, the money that came from the state. I think John and Mike, and of course the governor, the local support that Lee mentioned. This was an example, that Collider is an example of all levels of government working together and thinking about not the politics, you know, not, you know, what's helping me in an election, thinking about the region, our region, and what is best for us. And what an incredibly successful outcome. And I think it is a model for how we should be moving forward and conducting ourselves moving forward. We have to work together on a regional basis. Of course, we're going to have disagreements on different issues, but there's a lot more that we agree on. We all care deeply about this region, about how fantastic it is, about how much potential we have. And for me, the last 8 years have been about dealing with a you know, number of different crises. You know, I've had to you know, learn a lot about crisis management over the last 8 years. When I was town supervisor, of course, there was a lot of snowstorms, and you know, we've certainly had our share of those. But we had a financial crisis, of course. We still have financial challenges we're working on, but far different place than we are today because of some very difficult choices we made. We faced a water quality crisis that is, I view as an existential threat to our region. Water is everything to us here, and it's the underpinning of a $5 billion tourism economy as well. So when we take it back to an economic level, if we're not protecting water quality here, we are literally undermining our future. And the thing that in many ways draws people to live here, fishing and boating and recreation and quality of life issues that attract us as Long Islanders. So water quality is absolutely critical. We've made some significant advances, and again, thanks to some great support from the state. We have $10 million from the state out of a $15 million pot to do septic improvement, to put in systems that will treat for pollution. We also are going to be implementing over the next 4 years nearly $400 million in sewer infrastructure money that came from the state and through federal dollars post-Sandy. So that's been tremendous. We confronted a corruption crisis here. Just weeks ago, the former district attorney was convicted in federal court on all charges of abusing power. These were difficult battles, and I pointed out at a Long Island Association event the other day, you know, you had, if you want to understand the culture of fear and intimidation that existed in Suffolk County that came out during the trial, where people talked about, detectives, hardened detectives, talking about being fearful for their lives and their families and their kids. The last two county executives, the prior county executive, and he talked about this a little bit, was removed from office in a secret deal with the district attorney, something that is unheard of in American jurisprudence. And of course, several weeks ago in testimony, the current county executive, me, it came out that I was spied on by detectives in the police department under the orders of the former chief of police, who is a co-conspirator with the former district attorney, Tom Spoda. That would give you a sense of the environment that has existed in the county that we were operating in. And look, I stood on the steps of the district attorney's office 3.5 years ago, calling on the district attorney to resign, because I described it as a criminal enterprise that was being run out of the district attorney's office. That is not a comfortable conversation to have behind the scenes, let alone in public on the steps of the district attorney's office. But it is what was necessary to help move the county forward, because without changing leadership there, without changing that culture of corruption, and having in place in the district attorney's office somebody like Tim Sini, who is every day working to implement a culture of integrity in that office. And we've seen some incredible cases, the largest environmental case in New York State history, the largest takedown now of MS-13 in probably American history that just occurred. 9 leaders of MS-13 taken out. So that has been a dramatic change. And I bring that up, Joe, talking about the last 8 years, because changing out that culture of corruption positions the county now to reach its full potential as a government. And that's critical because we do have so many layers of government. We do have so many different we're a very decentralized government structure. For the region to prosper, the county has to play a critical role in working with all levels of government and really pulling together local government and working with local partners like the supervisor in Smithtown to support what's happening on a local level so that we can grow our economy. And where are the opportunities? You look at the electron ion collider in Brookhaven. Well, we've described that area around there as the innovation zone because we have an incredible opportunity to build out an innovation and transportation hub for the Long Island region right there along the Nichols Road corridor, where we have the region's airport, Long Island MacArthur Airport, and Supervisor Carpenter has done a tremendous job working and you've been there working on that effort, Joe. Right next to the airport, of course, is the Ronkonkoma train station, which is the busiest station in Suffolk, the third busiest in the Long Island Railroad system. The Ronkonkoma Hub project development actually has opened first phase, 245 units of housing, and the 244 are being built right now. A new downtown is rising around the Ronkonkoma train station. And we are working now on the south side to create a destination center, potentially a convention center, Long Island Convention Center, that would allow us to attract businesses and people from all over the country to come here. Along the Nichols Road corridor, of course, you have Stony Brook University, this great global institution, this state university that is part of Senator Flanagan's district. And Ken Laval, Senator Laval, who just announced that he was going to be stepping down from the Senate after 44 years, done so much work to help create Stony Brook as a global institution. So you have that, you have Patchogue Village, and then 2 train stops to the east, you have the Brookhaven National Laboratory site. So we have proposed that we relocate the Yaphank Station, which is next to the Board of Elections. Not that the Board of Elections is a really important institution, but I would suggest that having a station at Brookhaven National Laboratory is perhaps a bit more helpful to our region's economy than being next to the Board of Elections. So working with the state, working with the governor, we can shut down that station, move it, create a Brookhaven National Laboratory station. That is something that Supervisor Ed Romaine has championed as well. So you look at all of those assets there, we have the ability on that corridor in the heart of Suffolk County, which is in the geographic center of Long Island, to build out an innovation and transportation hub that is going to allow this region to reach its economic potential. And that's what I'm really excited about and some of the things that I'll be focusing on in the next 4 years.
Really
Thanks,
great
Joe.
stuff. Really great stuff. Great job. Thank you.